This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
Well, Sixer Nation, a new trade target has emerged, a player that we have talked about many times before here on this show, but the question is now the right time to pull the trigger on a trade? We'll talk about that. Also, one NBA analyst thinks PG should choose the Sixers, but probably not for the reason that you would predict. We'll talk about all of it and more, but welcome on in to Philly Take with RB. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. If you enjoy the show, be sure to subscribe, share it around to a friend, a family member, whoever who is interested in the Sixers, because, man, we are breaking it down every single day, and there is still a lot to talk about. We got the draft coming up, free agency, the biggest offseason ever. How do the Sixers repair this team? We'll talk about it. I want to know from you, one target down in the comments section that you think is a must-have this offseason. Give me your thoughts, and before we jump into it, a shout out to our partner of today's show, and that is BetUS. Ladies and gentlemen, BetUS, the best out there doing it. 125% deposit match bonus on your first 3 deposits, up to $2,500. Use our link down in the description. They have 24/7 service, 24-hour payouts, and some of the most unique odds you will find out there. But today, we focus on tonight's game. Timberwolves, Mavs. Can the T-Wolves stay alive? Nobody has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit, but big win the other night. Can they get it done at home and force it back to Dallas? I'm going to say no. I think the Mavs are just really, really good right now, and I like them on the 4.5 spread. So I'm taking the Mavs right over on BetUS. Shout out to them. Get a 125% deposit match bonus. Easy as that. Couple clicks. Use our link down in the description. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the 76ers, because we have some interesting things coming out, things being said, floated around. We had the whole Jimmy Butler fiasco yesterday, and people are wondering, right? Should it be Paul George? Should it be Jimmy Butler? There is no secret about it. The Sixers are going star hunting. They want that big 3. The question is, will they do it? What happens if Paul George says, I'm going back to LA, and Jimmy Butler doesn't get traded, and LeBron goes back to LA, and all these other guys don't become available? Then what do? Do they just bank and hope in the draft and in free agency and try to sign some players and maybe, overpay? What do? I feel like they're in a very tough situation, and you have to make the right move. But this was a huge determinant in how I think things could go. Yesterday, Ty Lue and the Clippers reach a 5-year contract extension worth $70 million, making him one of the highest paid coaches in the NBA. There was a lot of questions, right? Where do the Clippers go, right? Do they let James Harden walk? Do they let Paul George walk? Kawhi Leonard's never healthy at the right time. Ty Lue's contract is up. Is this the time to blow it up? Originally, I thought they were going to, but as you start hearing more about the business side of it, they have a new arena opening and they want to make a lot of money. Is right now the time to say, let's blow it up? Probably not, right? That doesn't align. Those goals don't align. So they decide to bring Ty Lue back. It seems like they're going to bring Harden back and try to bring PG back with Kawhi and continue to run it into the ground. But does that mean that Paul George will not come to Philly? Does this affect that situation? I think it does. I definitely think it does. Now, again, Paul George is his own man. He can decide what to do, but it seems like they're willing to go the extra step to maybe overpay a little bit, give that extra year, and bring him back. So just something to keep in mind. But this was a topic of convo on the shows today on the media airways, and Jay Williams thinks that Paul George should consider teaming up with Joel and Tyrese in Philadelphia. But listen to this reasoning. Quote, I love Kawhi, but if you're not available, what position does that put me in if I want to win championships? Now, there's a lot of reasons that PG should consider an Embiid Maxey trio, but I don't think this is one. Jay, I don't think this is one. Like, do these people not watch the games? Joel Embiid is hurt every year in the playoffs too. So I just don't understand this here. I just thought it was interesting, but Paul George should consider Philly if he wants to do anything it takes to win a championship, because I think that fit is good. And Kawhi Leonard, as we just saw, was not available when it mattered most. We know James Harden disappears. But like I said, with the whole financial thing, it seems like Steve Ballmer will do whatever it takes to get him back. So we'll just have to wait and see. But if the Sixers do not go the star route, one player that has emerged as a trade target is Jordan Clarkson. And if you have been an OG of the Philly Take crowd, you know that I've been on Jordan Clarkson for two and a half, maybe 3 years now. The Jazz are expected to make Jordan Clarkson available on the trade market. After renegotiating and extending his contract, Clarkson is owed only $14 million annually over the next 2 years. Utah could fetch additional draft capital from contenders in the need of scoring punch. Now, as we always do, let's go to the contract. He just mentioned it right there. This year, $14 million. Next year, 14.2. 2-year contract. A lot of value right there. 32, 33 years old. And, you know, right now he's 31, has definitely some years to play. Younger than you may think. But as I've said before, Jordan Clarkson would be a perfect fit off the 76ers bench. Why is that? Well, like it says right there, he brings that scoring punch. He's going to bring some facilitating. He's just going to give you more given than the Sixers have had coming in off their second unit. He's a guy that can start if you need him to. He's a guy that can take, you know, some chunks of minutes of the game and just score in bunches. He's a pretty decent three-point shooter. I know the last year, maybe last 2 years, he hasn't been that efficient. But Jordan Clarkson, whether it's off the catch and shoot, whether it's shot creation, he can get his own when needed. He's definitely got some tools in his game, and I've just always liked him as just more of like a six-man. But listen, man, Jordan Clarkson can be that microwave scorer. We talked about that a lot. If the Sixers decide to go a star route, it's going to be hard to get Clarkson if you want to bring Kelly Oubre back. Because again, whether it's Paul George, Jimmy Butler, doesn't matter. One of those guys is going to cost you $50 million. And when you look at the whole landscape of things, like $14 million is not that bad. But if you got Kelly Oubre coming back $8 to $12 million, then you have a star $50 million. You're just not going to have room for these guys. You're going to have to fill out the roster with minimum. So this would probably be more of an avenue of, okay, none of the big time names are available. Let's go get some high quality role players, which again is how I would proceed, number one, but not trying to waste another year of Embiid's prime, want to win right now. You know, you got to evaluate where you think things are at right now. And if you think this is the offseason to make a move, you get it done. But like I said, you know, Jordan Clarkson is not a superstar player, but he just knows how to fit his role. And when you look at the Utah Jazz, if we're being honest, I mean, they overperformed a couple years ago, but they're not going anywhere. There was a report yesterday that Danny Ainge wants to get another star to pair with Markkanen. I wish he would frickin' trade Markkanen. I mean, again, he would be the dream target for Philadelphia. You'd give up a lot of picks to get him. And when it comes to Clarkson, how would you get him? Well, you know, back to the cap situation, if you gave up, say, a Paul Reed in the deal, well, you'd probably would be able to afford Clarkson no matter what. But it's more likely the Sixers would give a draft pick or two. They'd take in that $14 million salary, and he'd be here for the next couple years as a nice punch off the bench. But as we see, 17 points per game this last year, 21 the year before, 16. He won a Sixth Man of the Year before, I believe. And like I said, man, he's just a guy who can come in off the bench, get his whenever needed. And, you know, if you need him to start, he can as well. But just a nice complementary shooter on this team, can help space the floor. And again, can provide more shot creation that this team just has not had. You know, there have been times where he doesn't seem too efficient as a scorer. But again, you know, think about the competition that was around him. Other than Markkanen and maybe Kessler and Sexton, like, Jordan Clarkson's out there fending on his own sometimes. So, listen, man, we'll see what happens, but I would definitely take Jordan Clarkson and his offensive prowess on this team. I think it'd be a nice fit around Tyrese Maxey, around some of these other cats. And like I've said for years, I just think the Sixers need a guy who can get his own off the bench. Jordan Clarkson is a perfect example of that, and he's been on some different squads. So we'll see what happens. Give me your thoughts down below. Do you want the Sixers to go out and target Jordan Clarkson this offseason via trade? Give me your thoughts. Appreciate everybody tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That being said, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.